The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation. What's going on, good people? It's your boy E Buck in the building. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Big Buck Sports Report slash Guru Sports Perspective. We're going to double it up this week because, sports scene, this stuff is going on, but we ain't got lots to talk about, but we got some stuff to talk about. So we're just going to talk about that. First and foremost, got to send a shout out to all of y'all that's doing y'all podcast thing. In particular, we want to shout out our guys over at Podcast. Podcast, thank you for your support and our endeavors. We appreciate what you are doing for the show. And hopefully you guys are doing well on your end out there in California. I'm sure my buddy, you lead the sports guru, would convey that as well.
Definitely appreciate everything because of the fact is the only thing it's going to do is help our show get stronger, and we appreciate that support because you didn't have to do what you did, but you still did it anyway for the better for our fans, and we definitely appreciate what y'all had to do for us, and hopefully you guys can get a chance to chime in to the shows as well. And, thank you, and once again, we appreciate everything you're doing for us, man, because definitely helping us be a stronger show. That's all we're trying to do is try to continue to move up and do better with our tech support and everything else that goes along with it. So thank you very much, and hopefully you guys can chime in and enjoy the show as well.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate all your help and support, most definitely. That being said, let's get on to the show itself. Inspired, but then it's other games. It's like not so much. Like let's go with, for example, the Knicks Pacers series. Most of the games in that series after game one kind of got like, oh boy, this ugly. I don't want to see this. Now, last night was one of those games. It started out, Pacers looked like they was ready to play, but then Madison Garden took over. Next thing you know, they was losing by 15, by 25, by 35. I don't think they're going to win another game in this series. I think the Knicks about to take it in this next game. What's your thoughts on them, Hugh?
Yeah, that's been one of the more sluggish, painful series to watch, man. I just don't really like the playoffs as much this year as I thought that I would. But it's been a lot of complaining too, and that's one reason why I feel like I'm more pro NFL than anything else, and I'm gonna stick by that because what I've seen this year has been definitely disgusting. When you see the games, you like the excitement. I like to see the Denver Minnesota series. To see them being down 2-0 and then them coming back, I definitely appreciate that. And like what I saw just in general from just the good basketball that's being played. It's good and bad because I feel like Rudy Gobert, by him having the title of the Defensive Player of the Year, he doesn't really show up now in the playoffs, and he never have. That's why I think Donovan Mitchell won it out when he was with him, when they were playing in Utah. That being said, it's still been an okay series. It's been a really interesting series. Denver lost the first two at home, won the last two on the road, and then came back home to win. But then you got the series that I don't really too much like in the whole thing right now.
Time out. It apparently the damn Knicks and Pacers series so bad, you didn't even want to talk about it at all. He skipped straight to the next series. So okay, yeah. I would say bottom line, as long as the real MVP in New York, that would be Mr. Brunson doing his thing. That's pretty much a done deal. Should we even bother talking about Boston and that series with Cleveland? I mean, come on now. Without Mitchell, it's a wrap.
Yeah, and I'm hearing he might not be back again. And then, you're not going to have a Jared Allen, and it's not a lot of pieces is over there. Darius Garland did what he could do. Still couldn't get the win. I don't see nothing happen. I just felt like Boston Celtics was lucky, man. They didn't have to worry about playing Jimmy Butler, and now they don't have to worry about playing, Donovan Mitchell. So yeah, man, I just want to see what's gonna happen in this next round. Because what I still see right now with the Knicks, they still don't have a lot of depth because of a lot of the injuries they have. So it's gonna be interesting getting into that round. But I think their physicality and their defense will definitely come into play because I feel like Boston is soft, man, and they just don't really have that it factor, especially when you got a leader and Jason Tatum that I just don't feel like most times bring it every night. And I don't care what people say. At first, I was pro Jason Tatum and always thought that he was that guy and who would be able to take that team to the next level. Now, after being told last year by you and one of my boys, Keith, I started looking a lot more at Jaylen Brown to see what he was doing. They need to stop playing games and let him take the reins of the team, and just have Drew Holiday do what he do, and just set the people up and put them in position to where they can win. Because yeah, besides the 33-point game Tatum had, he hasn't really had no really big games like that. Because when you seeing the new stars come up like the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and then you see guys like Ant-Man and how Anthony Edwards playing, and even Jalen Brunson, you still don't really see that in Jason Tatum. So I think you need to go ahead and just pass the torch and let Jaylen Brown take over those responsibilities.
You need somebody that's got that dog in them. Jason Tatum don't have that dog in him. Plain and simple. It does seem like Jaylen Brown does, but he defers to Tatum because he basically trying to make this two superstar thing work. At some
Maybe
point,
it's a Duke thing.
it may be that. Bottom line is, like I said, at some point, those two brothers need to sit down and be like, look, I'm the alpha dog. You have my back. I'm Batman. You Robin. Let's go. Until then, I mean, Boston, like I said, they got the easier route right now because they're getting all the beat up teams. They're getting the teams that's not on that same level with them. So I'm pretty much sure we're going to see them in the finals on that side. Let's go to the West now, because truthfully, those are the better playoff games at the moment. That being said, hold on, y'all. Y'all didn't hear nothing I said that last 60 seconds. Let me try this again. Okay, we got an update. The Celtics Cavaliers series, it's the wrap. Final 113-98. Boston over the Cavaliers. Without the main man, it just wasn't happening for him. We know that. Boston should have swept this series anyway. I'm pretty sure you agree with a lot of what he was saying in regards to Boston. And I see them going to the next round, probably taking on the Knicks, and they probably will make their way to the finals. But we'll talk more about that in the show. You shall see that for yourself. Back to our coverage. Last night, not so much. The Joker is on a mission. If that dude play like he did last night, they going back to back.
Yeah, I don't see them losing this series now. It might possibly could go to a game 7. But when you just have Anthony Edwards, the only one who's really facilitating and doing anything, he's the only one that seems like he get up out of bed and want to play. Rudy Gobert, man, his defense been at a decimal because of the fact that he can't handle Joker and he's too small. I mean, he still makes some good defensive efforts, but I just don't see enough from a defensive player of the year and how he basically doing. Nas Reed hasn't even showed up. He showed up and showed out the first 2 games, but now he kind of disappeared. Mike Conley was being out, so I was like, yeah, that's definitely not going to help. That's going to make matters worse. But no, I just don't really see nothing that's left in them. They possibly might be able to pull out another game at home, but I think once it's said and done, that by Denver doing what they did, it's going to be hard to get past those guys, man, because not only are they the champions, but now you can say that they're battle-tested champions going into this conference finals, and it's going to be tough to beat Denver, man. And plus, you still don't really have like a really Jamal Murray when he's on. You still don't really have that. I mean, Michael Porter Jr., he's been kind of iffy, but you've been really having a resurgence of Aaron Gordon, man, and that brother been balling. So, yeah, I like the fact that he's on Cat, and then you have Joker with Rudy, because I was surprised that Aaron Gordon can actually defend and play Cat that well, but I keep forgetting that dude like 6'9" himself, so he's a big dude.
Absolutely. And then you also got to remember, Cat, he's still not 100%, to be honest. He
No,
out there. I mean, you definitely saw it near the end of that game where he was starting to limp a little bit. It's starting to wear him out. And then, of course, remember this next game, it being in Denver. Yeah, that plays to Denver's hand even more so with the altitude and all of that. So I think they pretty
oh, the
much.
next game in Denver.
I do believe so.
If it is, it's a problem.
So I think they're about to go ahead and finish them on up.
Yeah.
But anyway, the best series so far in this round of the playoffs appears to be the one between Dallas and OKC. The only problem I have, truthfully, with that series is that Luka, come on, man. The crying, bruh. The crying. We understand you're not 100%, but damn, you cry about everything. You cry about the plays that you win. You cry about the plays that your teammates see. You cry about the plays of other teams. I ain't never seen such whining in my life. You make that damn game almost unwatchable with how you have contended with yourself. I completely understand what he was saying about how some of these games just ain't watchable. People like that is why. And it's crazy that the person they have commentating on the games last night, that being young Draymond Green, had the nerve to say something in regards to that. He is the poster boy for crying about plays. Him and the Golden State Warriors in general. So yeah, it's been a good series though. I will give it that. OKC, they young and they hungry, and they only gonna get better and better. But I do believe that Dallas is gonna find a way to win and find a way to win this series. What's your thoughts, Hugh?
I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't though, because the lack of Kyrie Irving really stepping up and playing big, and then you have Luca with his complaining. He complains about everything, and then not only is he complaining, but his complaining and him not wanting to actually get involved in the plays. Like, he'll complain and he'll kind of dog it and kind of walk down rather than run down and sprint down and get
Mm,
back on defense. And he'll still complain when he get bumped. He was on the ground and they gave him the foul and he still complained. That
yeah.
reminds me of what happened with him 2 years ago, when I said I don't think Dallas will go anywhere, man, long as Luka's their leader, because of the fact how much he pouts and he whines. But yeah, man, I don't know. They'll be able to get it together, man. And I would like to see Dallas in the next round, because it's good for basketball. But then I still feel like the OKC and that young nucleus and how they won in that hostile environment, that they can still pull off the series. I still feel like right now I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't say just me comfortably saying Dallas will go into the next round. But I definitely still feel like they possibly could, but I think OKC with a good, strong game could actually go in the next round as well. So I would have to see in this next game, see who really won it the most. But they're just as capable as Dallas. And but see, the thing is Kyrie and Luca will have to start complaining. But I think what's really good is how Lively and Gafford been playing, and then you got Tim Hardaway Jr. stepped in and played pretty well last game. That'll definitely help them out, having those guys, especially Tim Hardaway Jr. back. And I think that experience enough to help them go to the next round. But it's like, how is Kyrie gonna function, and how will my man's Luca, be able to handle the game without getting into it himself? Because when he get inside himself and start complaining, that's what makes the game worse for them. And I just don't think that if he can continue to do that, that if they did go to the next round, he has no way of beating the Denver Nuggets team or a Minnesota, because regardless, until it's over, it's not over. So yeah, I can't count Minnesota out right now neither.
I think the key to this series is actually the Jags, as I call them, the just another guys, because it's a couple key ones on both of those squads. For OKC, Lou Dort. Lou Dort is the defensive guru on that squad. He the one that's been pretty much giving Luka all kind of fits, and it's part of why he crying so much. If he continues to play that good defense on Luka, that's one thing. On the other end, you got PJ Washington that's been having a great series for Dallas. Keep in mind that PJ Washington is from that Dallas area, and basically he, negotiated himself to getting traded back to Dallas in the trade deadline. And he definitely wants to show that, yeah, I'm here and I want to be here long term. So he has definitely showed that he is hell. In one of the games, he was actually their leading scorer above Luka and Kyrie. So he definitely will be a key to them winning that series also. But either way it goes, I don't think it matters if it's OKC or Dallas. I don't see either one of them teams beating them. I just don't see it because neither one of them have no true answer for that dude that is the Joker. None.
No, it ain't too many teams that have an answer for the Joker right now, man.
If he can't, if the defensive player of the year can't do nothing with him, I mean, hey.
Because after they went down, it just seems like after that, when he came into the next game, you've seen the difference because they really put it to Minnesota. And then the one game was a little closer, but then they still end up pulling it off. And then to go home and to handle business at home finally, yeah, man, that just lets you know that the Joker's on a mission. He won that MVP, but he just didn't want to be considered a regular season MVP. He want to show you why they won that first championship. And he's did that and then some because some of the plays and some of the shot selections and the things he did, like the magic, man. I seen at one point where he grabbed the ball and people tried to double team him and he bounced the ball back to, Aaron Gordon to try to get a bucket. And I was like, man, Luka's not, not Luka, but Nikola is not holding him back. And I think Jokic right now, when they pull this series off, I think that definitely will be considered your NBA champions because I just don't really see nobody on the East stopping them, man. Not at all. Not no New York Knicks because they don't got the depth. And Boston was the closest thing that I felt like could compete with them, but they're too soft, man. I'm sad to say it, but they don't have enough physical aspects to beat them. When you have a team like that who's kind of watered down and soft, it kind of goes with the coach in mind as well. I feel like when they got rid of their original coach and they end up getting Joe Mazzulla, that's where it all started because Mazzulla gets in his own way. Like, it ain't no way that y'all supposed to got beat as bad as y'all did at home that second game. Ain't no way. And then to turn around and to just don't make the adjustments, man. He looks stupid when it comes to making adjustments, man. It just don't seem like that's in him. I feel like he still got that job just because Brad Stevens. But yeah, I just don't see nobody beating Denver, man, right now because the role they've been on, especially that second game when they scored those 8 points less than 2 minutes. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen since the Reggie Miller when New York choked against them in that series.
I mean, like I said, I think in the end, we might actually be able to credit Shaquille O'Neal for waking up Jokic. You remember the whole scenario last week when they talked about how when he came on TNT and basically you got to give Shaq credit for being a man about it. Like, look, I don't think you should have been MVP. I think you should have been SGA. I'm just going to tell you to your face. Now, some people had issue with Shaq doing that. I did not. I actually respected the fact that he told that man, because oftentimes they interview these guys and be like, well, yeah, I was just saying you should be MVP. No, Shaq told him straight up to his face. It ain't like he gonna do nothing to Shaq. I mean, for real. But and the same token, people saying that, yeah, Shaq said that because he's jealous and whatnot. What does Shaquille O'Neal have to be jealous of damn near anybody in the NBA now or previous? The man is an MVP. The man won 4 rings. The man is the most dominant big man of his time. The man is worth damn near $500 million right now. What the fuck you gonna be jealous of?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
So the people that had that opinion, I think you're dumb.
I think it's a younger generation, man, who hasn't really understood and seen nothing that Shaq really did, like his groundwork. And that's what it basically comes down to. A lot of them always say, "Oh, you hating because you said this, or you hating because of you feel this way. You're older and you're not in the league and you're bitter." Nah, man, it ain't even about that. It's about just being an honest person and speaking your truth. Because even Stephen A. said, and several other people said they didn't think that he deserved it, and they thought that MVP supposed to went to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Right. Now here's the thing, Hugh. On a little side note to the whole thing, behind the scenes, it is said that the national broadcasting company, that would be NBC, is fit to make a bid to get the NBA solely as the broadcast for them. So no ABC, no TNT. They are looking to bid somewhere up in terms of about $3 billion to get the sole broadcasting rights to the NBA. That being said, if that happens, the TNT broadcast as we know it, the Inside the NBA, will be no more. How crazy would that be next season to not have Shaq and Charles and Kenny and the crew doing the game?
What they don't understand is I'm already not a pro NBA person, and I don't shy away from that. Never have, never will be. But for people who don't really watch NBA, man, they watch this show because of Shaq and Barkley and how funny Kenny and all those guys are. Man, they're entertaining. They're real fun to watch. But if that happens, that's fine with me. Yeah, I ain't gonna lose no sleep. They'll be doing me a favor because I look at it and I say Inside the NBA is my favorite show. I don't really too much care about what be going on in the playoffs and stuff, but I do like to hear with Shaq. I like to hear with Kenny and what they have to say on the show. So you make that mistake and do that if you want to. You just be doing me a favor. I focus more on NBA and I won't even watch. I mean, I focus more on the NFL. I won't even really watch the NBA. I might watch it less than what I already do right now. And that's really telling you something because I don't really watch it as much. And I only watch it because of the NBA inside with them guys, when it comes to the TNT broadcast. That's one of the main reasons I like to watch it, to hear them dissect and talk about the game and give their honest opinion. Because I know Kenny, Shaq, and Barkley is going to be blatantly honest about everything they say, and they're not going to sugarcoat anything. They old school. They have that right. But do me that favor if you want to and get them off the air, man, and you put it on NBC. I would probably watch basketball at 5%.
And sadly, I think it's quite a few of y'all that had that same opinion that Hugh has in regards to that. Because keep in mind, they are adding all type of good broadcasters to all the NFL broadcasts. When you realize that Tom Brady gonna be doing games this year, they basically trying to get more of the brothers Peyton Manning and Eli Manning to do their thing on Monday night. It's a lot of good football broadcasters out there that are getting that spotlight. Meanwhile, the best people to talk NBA seem to be Kenny and Charles and Shaq. Because between the three of them, they bring you all the different experiences. You got the guard, the forward, and the center. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're going to have some type of broadcast partnership similar to that on NBC, and I just don't see it jumping off like that. This is probably a bad move. If anything, yeah, NBC, first of all, do your thing. Try to get the NBA. But second thing you need to do is, okay, since you're not going to be on TNT no more, y'all come over here, and we're going to pay y'all buku money too.
I was just about to say that. If they at least can bring them over, if they don't keep them on TNT, and then, NBC get the sole rights and say, hey, Kenny, Shaq, Ernie, Barkley, come over here, man. Yeah, you guys are not going to be on TNT, but you're more than welcome to be over here, on NBC. And if they did that, it'll probably keep me, aware and make me say, okay, well, I still feel like it's relevant and to be worth watching. But if they don't do that, then I don't really have no reason to really continue to watch a lot of NBA. I'll kind of sneak in. I might catch you catch some highlights or something like that. kind of stay relevant with the game because I do have to talk about NBA and I talk about the basketball because at some point, the NFL's not around and the MLB is not doing enough for me to really have much to talk about with them. So the WNBA came back so I can discuss and kind of talk about that too. But I need enough of that gap to fill with the NBA and their season and what they're doing so I stay relevant. So I look at highlights, kind of dissect and see what's going on still, but I won't be watching as much because right now I watch it like if you want to say 100%, like 35, maybe 40% of the time. And other than that, I'm doing other things. But yeah, you mess around and do that, it'll be like at a 5-10%, and I'll be getting most of my, information from highlights and just me, going back and doing my studies and seeing what's going on around the league. But yeah, that wouldn't be good for the NBA if they do that. And then everybody's been talking about too how they're not really focused on a lot of those like shows like TNT right now too. They're starting to go on more or less like the Baller Vision with Baller. My man's the Clippers owner. And then, Boston had their own, broadcast system. And then, even in Los Angeles, they had like a goofy reality show on like a little stream that they're doing. And it's like everybody want to get away from like some of the main NBA roots and they want to mess around and do their own thing, which I'm not mad at them, but it's kind of taken away from the game for me, in my opinion.
And there you have it. So, okay, that's our thoughts on NBA this week. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we want to talk about what's finally starting to get its true due, and that would be the WNBA. So we actually going to do a WNBA preview, even though the WNBA actually started last night, and we'll talk a little bit about a couple of those games. But we kind of want you, for those of you who are really starting to get into the WNBA, have a little, kind of a little guide as to what to watch for, who to watch for, and whatnot. And, give you our thoughts of who we think going to win again this year. I'm going to tell you now, team that's going to win next year, as in this year, same team won last year. But we'll talk about that when we get back. This is the Big Buck Sports Report / Guru Sports Perspective. We'll be back after these messages from our Nighthawk Network.
Hold up. Hold up.
On Blog Talk Radio or where most great music podcasts are located. Don't forget to subscribe and show some love.
All right, good people, we are back. This is Big Buck Sports Report / Hugh Sports Perspective. That is your dude, Hugh Lee, right there. I'm your boy E-Buck, and now we are ready to talk about the WNBA. As you know, the WNBA has grown in popularity tenfold in just a short period of time. And, of course, one of the main reasons that is the young ladies known as Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, so much so that the average ticket price of a WNBA game is 5 times more than it was this time last year. Incredible. Do you not agree, Hugh?
Yeah, I definitely believe so. But it started to really take off before Caitlin Clark. But when we knew who was coming in, as far as with this year's draft, we knew it was going to be a really strong draft class too. So that was going to bring a lot more to the WNBA. And for, like you said, all the fans like the Caitlin Clarks and the Angel Reeses, you're going to see a lot of those women now as their rookie seasons progress. And yeah, man, it's pretty interesting because when I looked up after the game, they said that with the Mercury, man, that was one of their first times they sold out since like how many years? 10 years or so. Yeah, so that's pretty
Right.
impressive,
I
man.
mean,
And
same with the Connecticut Sun last night in their game with the Indiana Fever, which we're about to talk about in a minute. But okay, here's the thing, good people. For those of you who have been asking for us to do WNBA more so, shout out to our girl Road to Stardom and to also Miss Felicia Bell. We got that WNBA for you. In fact, we will be covering the WNBA throughout the WNBA season. But for those of y'all that's not quite familiar with how it works, let's get into it. Now, as you know, WNBA started last night. There are 12 teams this season in the WNBA. There are other teams on the way. As you know, it was announced also yesterday that the newest team that will start next year in the WNBA in Golden State, they will be called the Valkyries. Now, if you are a person that's familiar with Norse mythology, you know what a Valkyrie is. It's basically a warrior woman demigod. I think that's the best way to describe that. For those of you that need a more accurate description, though, if you are familiar with the Marvel movies, in particular the Thor movies, the young lady that is played by Tessa Thompson, she is a Valkyrie, okay? Remember her with the big sword riding on the winged horse? That is a Valkyrie. Anyway, I think it's an excellent name for a women's team. I do like the fact that the Valkyries, and I think we're gonna try to throw this in when we do the editing, what the actual symbols and stuff look like for that squad. Hopefully they don't ding us for that. But the Valkyries colors will be black and violet. Cold, very, very nice looking colors together. That violet and black. And they will play in the same arena the Golden State Warriors play in San Francisco. So shout out to them. I'm assuming, Hugh, and I guess we're going to find this out, that because they are the new team, as they usually do with new teams, they automatically get the number one pick for next year.
Hmm.
And you know, of course, I'm taking an interest in that because, as you know, you already know who I think is going to be the number one pick next year. As many people have already said as well, that would be the great Paige Beckers from UConn. Her starting her career in Golden State out there in California. I love that move for her. I love that move for their organization. And because she is a player with some Caitlin Clark type skills, but a slightly different skill set, I think that will be a good start for them. We also now know that the 14th team that will come in 2026 is going to be located in Toronto. And I promise you, that's going to be one of the hypest clubs in the WNBA because you see how Toronto supports their teams, particularly when they play well. Your thoughts on that, Hugh?
I kind of figure now that they're expanding, it was something they needed to do. And now that they're getting more popularity, I believe that's why it's even more important now because you'll start to have more teams. We're going to eventually have another team back in the Detroit area. But yeah, man, to hear the Golden State Valkyries and then hearing it's going to be a team in Toronto, man, I'm just liking the way it's expanding and it's getting more teams because it wasn't really many teams at all. But then now you're getting more popular, you're getting more women watching, and they even had some funny commercials yesterday, man. I saw the commercial yesterday, man, with the State Farm with the girls. I thought that was pretty cool, man, because the lady knew who they was, and they like, nah, that's not me, and they running away because they don't want, people to figure out who they are. And it was cool because of the popularity, just basically let you know how good they expanded. And it was cool to see that they're having ladies like the Asia Wilsons, and they got like the Sue Birds and all
Sabrina
those ladies
Ionescu,
and Ionescu in the commercials because at first Sabrina Ionescu was doing the commercials, her and CP3, and I like that little crossover for like the WNBA. But yeah, it's cool that they're getting a lot more recognition and they deserve it because it's been really good because I paid a little bit more attention to the WNBA than I did with the college women. But then the college women has its own popularity. The only problem is you have your popular teams and your popular players, and the rest of the women you might not know. But WNBA is this whole universal language of its own right now, and it's growing. And I like the fact that, they're expanding. You starting to get more celebs, like we've said before, and it's cool because you're seeing a lot more people at the games. And I like not only that they're coming to the games, for the women, but you see a lot of the women showing support as well. So yeah, it's just been really good for basketball.
Right. And definitely want to send a shout out to Miss Kim Kardashian for her Skims commercial that they had last night. Her being one of the official sponsors of the WNBA, from a business standpoint, brilliant. It is a reason why Kim has become the multi-billionaire that she has. For her to link herself with the WNBA in that way, I think is an excellent business decision. And we need more people to come on board with the WNBA in terms of advertisement and marketing and whatnot, so that will help boost the money up to where WNBA players can actually start getting paid some significant salaries. We also like the fact that it was announced that this season all the WNBA teams will have chartered flights, something that they should have been doing. It is crazy to have those women flying on regular commercial flights. Understand, the WNBA is not like how it started, where you had maybe every fourth or fifth person that was 6'1" or 6'2". Most of the league now have players 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". I'm 5'10". Your average plane seat ain't so good for me, not just because of what I weigh, but how tall I am. So I can only imagine you being 6'2", 6'3", and you trying to be bunched up with all the other little passengers. It was good that they finally did that for the ladies. Your thoughts on that one, Hugh?
Did you see when they first announced it and they started to have the charter jets? Like, I think they started the test drive in preseason. It was pretty cool because when I first saw it, of course, y'all can say what y'all want, say the drama for your mama, but it was cool to see the Indiana Fever and how they was clowning when they first got the charter, man. You seen how comfortable they were. Most of the chicks weren't even really playing around. Some of them were being goofy. Most of them were just trying to kick back, relax, and try to get some rest before the game. But then you see how much more appreciative they were. And like you said, man, they should have been treating them better, man, and do it better for them because I get now, because it's on such a big platform now, that you're going to have to pay more attention because, like you said, the situation even though it was a preseason game, when Chicago didn't get their chance to really be broadcasted, then, man, it was so many people wanting to watch that game that now, man, it's like it's escalated into something now. And I give it another year or two to where they're going to have to start doing better on their wages and just really elevate the game because it evolved so much in the last few years now from the talent standpoint that now everybody's starting to pay more attention to it. And it's good because they deserve their shine. And, we seen a lot of good talent before, didn't really get the opportunity, but I'm glad that they still in the way for the game. So yeah, man, it's been really huge and it's been good to watch because I've been watching it before it really started to take off. So it's good to really actually sit back now and reap the benefits, and it was well deserved. They definitely deserve everything they're getting and then some.
Okay. So that being said, we're about to break it down to you now. Like I said, we got 12 teams this year in the WNBA. 8 of those 12 teams will eventually make the playoffs. It is a 40-game season. Understand that this season is going to be a little different because it will be broke up by the Olympic break, which is going to be interesting because, of course, as you know, pretty much every person that's on the Olympic team is also in the WNBA. So I'm curious to see how them having to travel to Paris and play for a few weeks and then come back and play into their season, how that's going to affect rest and courses, particularly if any of them, Lord forbid, knock on wood, if any of them happen to get hurt during the Olympics. But also remember that a lot of the other teams across the world will also have WNBA players on their squads as well. So we get the double exposure of not only seeing the WNBA being broadcasted more than it ever has before, but also we'll get that 2 or 3 weeks to see it on NBC on the Olympics as well. So there's that. Now, of course, there are 12 teams, like we said. The team that had the number 1 overall pick for the second season in a row, I might add, was the Indiana Fever. And of course, everybody who knows anything about basketball at this point knows that that number 1 pick was Caitlin Clark. Question is, how well was she going to play night 1? Night 1 is completed. They played the Connecticut Sun, who was a team that made the playoffs last year in the WNBA. They did not play their best game, but you do see signs of improvement in terms of where they are from last year with Caitlin. However, you do see that Caitlin very much played like a rookie last night. What was your thoughts on it, Hugh?
Yeah, some of the stuff too that when I looked at the Pat McAfee show, I looked at a few of them fouls she had, like the 2 quick fouls she had within that 4-minute span. Looked like it was bogus. One of them, she didn't clearly touch the woman, and the other one, it was like they were battling for the ball. And like when did you get a foul called on when you're battling to get the ball and get the possession of the ball. But other than that, you can definitely tell she had the jitters. It's totally different in college. You're not paying no young 18, 19-year-old. You playing grown-ass women who established themselves. Like Diane Taurasi's and a lot of them ladies, they were waiting for her. But you can see too that the respect she get regardless of her having a bad game. Yeah, she had 10 turnovers. She had 20 points, and she started to really get on later on into the game. But you usually seen double and triple teams around her when she got the ball. They were saying they ain't gonna let her beat us or make a fool out of them. So they already had a game plan for her. And you're gonna see a lot of teams try to game plan and focus on her. But all in all, as a rookie, 20 points is not bad. 10 turnovers, I know she'll work on that. I know as far as the assists go, she did a really good job contributing and getting some of her teammates involved. I definitely like the fact that Aliyah Boston, talked to her and tried to keep her encouraged and let her know that they had her back. Because, yeah, it's kind of frustrating coming from where she came from and being the girl on her team or the woman and the best person, on the team, to coming into a new situation where you just one of the girls on the campus, and then you got a lot of already established stars. She's going to make a name for herself. I give her like a couple more games before she really start to turn it on. But yeah, I feel like she had a really not that bad of a night besides the turnovers. But like I said, when you getting double, triple teamed, man, in that environment too, you could tell she kind of rushed some of her shots. But once she started to get her feet wet and get established, I definitely feel like she's going to have a really solid season. And I believe the Fever will be okay. I don't think if they don't make the playoff, they'll be close to or having a better record. Because as you see last year, man, we knew that when they got Aliyah Boston, they actually started to improve too as far as their win percentage. But yeah, it might take a little time, but I still feel like when she get her feet wet, man, and start establishing her game and getting more comfortable in the WNBA, I think that she'll be all right.
There are a couple decent veterans on that Indiana squad. They're still a relatively young team, man. But that being said, they do have some good shooters on that team. She did okay in terms of the assists last night, I thought. What it is remember, the WNBA did not have a long training camp. They had a very, very short preseason. Those players are still getting used to playing with one another. And I think one of the key things that they are going to have to do as a squad is like, look, when they start doing that, Caitlin is going to be looking for us to get open. It was very smart of UConn last night to, again, the Connecticut Sun, UConn, sorry, let me mix that up. Anyway, the Connecticut Sun basically game plan for her very well, and that they knew that once they doubled and tripled her, her move would be is to pass, and more than likely she will be throwing those passes to the post to Aliyah Boston. So many times when that happened, they were already ready to double and triple team Aliyah Boston as well, which is why she didn't play all that well in the first half in particular, because they were waiting for those passes. And that's what caused a lot of the turnovers that Caitlin Clark had very on. They pretty much knew where she was going with it before she even did it. Eventually, they will come up with game plans to where sometimes she'll have the ball and be the point guard, but sometimes she also should play off the ball and kind of get her Steph Curry on and set herself up that way. I think once Indiana establishes that in their offense, they'll win more games. I agree with you. I don't necessarily think they make the playoffs this year, or if they do, it's going to be like on the very fringe, like that 7th or 8th seed, because I think they still going to need to be a little bit better and take that time to get to know each other that much better. And they're going to have to basically, much like how San Antonio did this year with Wembanyama, just let Caitlin Clark kind of get her feet wet in the WNBA before they really unleash her full potential. But again, the Fever is just one of 12 teams. Some of the other teams we're going to talk about that's not quite there yet. We have the Atlanta Dream. They have some players, most of which you probably don't know unless you are a WNBA head. Ryan Howard is their key person on that squad. She is definitely more of the small forward, power forward type. Has some good rebounding skills. They need somebody that's going to point guard for them well. I think the trade that they made with the Dallas squad where they got Crystal Dangerfield, the former UConn Husky, I think that's definitely going to help them, but I don't think they're quite ready for that next level. Do you know anything about the Atlanta Dream squad, Hugh?
Yeah, man. Ryan Howard, don't forget she a damn good scorer, man. She really, I was surprised because I didn't think that she was gonna catch on that fast. I thought that she was gonna probably struggle getting in, and that rookie season kind of have her bumps, had some good games and bad games. Man, she came in like, hey, I belong here, and I know I belong here. But to play that well kind of shocked me because you're right, that definitely helped out with the Atlanta Dream. But the actual trade they end up getting to, and the team in general has been bad for so long that you start to see them coming up. You know who they remind me of, E? They remind me of Orlando Magic team right now, man. They're going to get those pieces. They're going to continue to get more drafts, and they're going to get some good, key trades. But I think about a year or two, they'll be ready, man. And they're going to be one of these young, sensational teams that we see and we'll start to respect for more because they're going to start to own and take a name in the WNBA. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting because, they had a rough road. And I believe that now you're starting to see the other side because they're starting to transcend and they're starting to go into the right direction.
Right. Okay. Next team I want to talk about, of course, is the Washington squad. That team will be the Washington Mystics. I don't think they do much this year, Hugh, for the simple fact that without the young lady that is Elena Deladon, who has taken this year off to kind of get other things in her life together, I don't think they are a playoff team without her. They don't have that go-to person on the squad. Granted, that is the squad that drafted Aaliyah Edwards. I think she'll play a decent rookie season. She'll be a decent post player for them, but I don't think she's going to be the game changer they need to make it to the playoffs in the WNBA this year. Your thoughts on the Mystics?
I agree because when I looked up, I said, "Damn, because we saw something at first that before we even knew that she wasn't playing, we seen like a top 100 list, and you was like, damn." And we said it. I don't know who said it first. I said, "Damn, Deladon ain't on that list."
Right.
And then we looked,
not playing right,
and we seen that she wasn't playing. So I said, "Yeah, that's gonna be a problem for the Mystic, man." I think Leia Edwards gonna come in. And she's going to do well, but I don't think they'll have enough to still get to where they need to be at, man. Hopefully they continue to do some good drafts and get some players in free agency, but that Deladon not being there hurt them, man, because we know how good she is when she's healthy because she has a lot of injury issues. But I'm just hoping Leia Edwards can, put her foot forward and at least give them some type of recognition to the point where if they're not in the playoffs, at least be on the cusp of having some playoff recognition,
All right, then we got kind of the middle squad. We're going to kind of just touch on them briefly. Seattle Storm should definitely be better than last year. They have one of the best scorers in the WNBA with Jewel Lloyd. She is definitely somebody that can get buckets, no doubt. She reminds me a lot of Kyrie Irving in the way she's able to score and play the basketball, get her own shot. Nneka Ogwumike, who was formerly with the Sparks, is now with the Seattle Storm. That's definitely going to help. Nika Mew was the person they drafted in the WNBA. I think she could be a defensive presence with them. But ultimately, again, they going to need a few more players before they step up to the upper echelon of WNBA. Chicago. A lot of people are going to look into Chicago because they have the one and only Angel Reese on the squad, along with the big mama that is along her side, the former rival at South Carolina, that is now her teammate. Unfortunately, she is out for the next few weeks with a
4 to
shoulder
6
injury.
weeks.
So I think because of that, and because the WNBA season is short like that, that is probably going to cost them playoff potential. I think we won't really know what type of squad they'll have until next year after they probably get another lottery pick to add with those girls and that. So I think they're gonna be a little bit under playoffs. In other words, I see them winning maybe 15 to 20 games. Hopefully Angel Reese has a decent season because some people will definitely measure how good the WNBA is, unfortunately, on how well she does, as well as how well Caitlin does. So there's that. Another team that's kind of in the middle there would be the Phoenix Mercury. They played last night against the world champion Aces. They actually played better than I thought they would, but again, the problem they are going to have is the fact that Brittany Griner is out, unfortunately, with an injury. And it looks like she's going to be out for at least a few weeks. So I think that's going to cost them playoff status as well. Not to mention that the best person on that squad is a 40-year-old Diana Taurasi, and I expect Age to finally catch up with her at some point this season.
Yeah, that finally you definitely gonna catch up. What surprised me too was that's why I'm glad I followed WNBA on Instagram, because I know you probably seen it too, where you seen the young lady, Cameron Brink, and she was hugging some of the veterans, speaking to them. And I'm like, man, what the hell was wrong with Brittany Griner? She was on one of the little roll scooters. And I said, damn, she hurt? I had no idea. So that definitely was going to hurt them, even though it's going to be for a couple weeks, because you know how the season is. But I was pissed off with the Camila Cardozo thing because, that game wasn't even broadcast and she got hurt. So, that's why a lot of other people was angry about that. But, yeah, I was surprised with Seattle, though, man, yesterday, because you know how they got Ogwumike, Diggs, and they got all these good players now. And I was like, okay, they really about to do well. And they just kind of seemed like they coasted through that first game, man, even though it's just one game. But the season's so short, man. So that one game can make or break your season.
Right.
So, yeah, I was just surprised with some of the things I've seen. But, yeah, I definitely still feel like this is going to be a good year. And I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, man, because not only is the Aces good, man, they end up getting two of the better young ladies in the draft who, was on their team. And I think that they're only going to be stronger, man, because I know they like to play.
Okay, let's get to it since you didn't jump there. Basically, it's the three teams in the WNBA I think y'all really should look out for. These are the three teams that's basically going to make the needle jump one way or another. And he was talking about one, the Las Vegas Aces, who already basically had an all-star squad as the starting five to begin with, even with Candace Parker retiring. So, of course, the point guard, she is still dealing with some injuries. So that's going to play a small role. But because they are so loaded in Las Vegas, I don't think it's really going to matter. They had the best record in the league last year. I think they're going to have the best record in the league this year. And right behind them is the New York Liberty, and that team is loaded as well. When you look at Ionescu and Brianna Store, who was MVP last year, Jonelle Jones, who was MVP a couple years ago. Basically, those were the two teams in the finals last year. I'm pretty much thinking we're going to see them two teams again this year in the finals.
Possibly. Man, you seen Jonelle Jones, man. She was clowning yesterday, man. Damn, what she had, like 20 and 10?
Absolutely.
Man, people keep forgetting how good she was, man, and how she's playing, man. I think because, you know, the rival of Asia Wilson, and then you know how good Stewie and a lot of them was, and then plus her being on Liberty now, Breonna Stewart. Then a lot of people wasn't paying attention to Jones, man. But man, that chick can still get off. She tall as hell, linky, and she's like one of the better players that I've seen at her position. So yeah, man, there's definitely gonna be a threat to the Aces. But like you said, man, once Chelsea Gray comes back, man, and she gets to the point of where she needs to be, that's a hard team to beat. Because remember last year, I was saying, man, damn, the Liberty started to get under business, man. And you said, well, yeah, he was still the regular season. You know, let's wait to the playoffs. Stuff, man, because it was like you have a game plan in the regular season. Sometimes it ain't the same in the playoffs because you all take it up another level. Not saying that Sabrina Ionescu or Breonna Stewart and none of them did what they needed to do. It was just that they just had that much more talent on the Aces, man. And I still think it's gonna be between them two as well once it's said and done.
Now, here's the thing, people. Remember, I said it's 3 things to look out for. Here is the sleeper team, and you really need to watch them. They are by far, in my opinion, outside of the Aces, the more exciting team in the WNBA. That would be the Dallas squad, the Dallas Wings, because they got some people on that squad that are very, very capable of scoring. When you look at Sabu Sabali, that is her name, former Oregon Duck. She is about 6'3". She played inside. She played outside. She's a good defender. She is probably one of the best all-around players in the WNBA. And then, of course, you have Arike Obumawale. She gets buckets.
Arike Obumawale is one of the main people that we seen last year in the highlights, man, that you had to pay attention to. Every time I turned around, I was like, damn, man, she getting off, man. And man, it's gonna be fun to watch because that team, a lot of people not really talking about that much, man, but they're gonna be one of them teams to be in your face, and they really good when it comes to scoring the ball, man. They kind of remind you of the Dallas Mavericks, you know, with the scoring and how exciting they look. But yeah, I didn't even think you was gonna say them neither. So yeah, but to say them, it's just basically letting you know how much people have to respect them and how good they were, because they was low key last year, but they caught a lot of teams by surprise because I didn't think they were going to be that good. But I just feel like in general that some of the teams you name, and I just want to see another team to just creep up on us this year. That's all I want. A team that we at least suspect, like an Atlanta Dream or somebody, to just come up to the fold.
I say definitely look out for Dallas, and of course, don't sleep on Connecticut Sun because they showed you last night. They got some good players on that squad too. Both on
you definitely can't sleep on them.
I was very impressed with last night.
But yeah, man, that's her squad though, man. But then, like you said, man, it's just I remember before the little chick with the curly red hair on Phoenix, man. I mean, how good they played. Connecticut, I'm sorry, I keep mixing them up with Phoenix Suns too. Man, it's hard, it's easy to do,
right?
But yeah, man, it's just really cool, man, because to see the women and how the game, like you said, it's been elevated, man. You know, you don't just have like how it used to be in the WNBA, like 5 or 6, or even you could even say 8 players that's really light years above everybody else. You got so many people and stacked rosters now that makes it a little harder for you to say, man, this is the best player in the game. But I still look at it and say, man, I just don't really see too many people on top of their game. It's like Breonna Stewart, man, and then you're gonna have your Asia Wilson to have something to say about it too, man, because those ladies work hard, man. And I like to see Sabrina play, man. There's just so many now that you just can't say, oh, man, these are the only people who I'm going to watch, man. You can watch and be surprised by any team on any given night now. And that's why I'm glad that, like you said, first and foremost, shout out to Road. Appreciate everything and all the love and support that you give. But I was glad that she mentioned something about that, but then, you know, I had to tell her one of the reasons why I don't put it on one of the networks that I have on one of my social media platforms. But other than that, man, you're going to see a lot more highlights and different things from around the league. And we definitely going to talk about that real heavy because we've been really for the last few years been heavy into, the WNBA, and I'm glad that it's starting to really take off this year. But man, I'm just glad we had a head start, man, so we can know all the talent and know who, to talk about. Because a lot of them too has been in a lot of funny commercials too, like the Danielle Jones. Like when I didn't know she was that damn tall. I knew she was tall, but it was funny because you had a Trey Young who's like 6'2", 6'3", then
Right.
you had her being real tall and
She's
Boban.
about 6'5", 6'6".
Was that a State Farm commercial too?
No, that wasn't a State Farm commercial, but I know exactly the one.
Okay, but yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty cool. It's good to start to see because you're starting to see not only them in commercials with men, but you're starting to see them do their own thing too, man. And like you said, with the Skims, I want to get back to that too. Not even trying to be a pervert, but I said, damn, these ladies are good, man. When I seen them on that commercial, man, you already know I had a thing for Kelsey Plum, man. I think she's so hot. And she made it clear that she's not a Boricua or Hispanic or anything, and she's white, which surprised the hell out of me. But it was cool to see all them in that commercial, man, because the ladies were strong, they fit, they look good, the Cameron Brinks, and yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And like you said, that was a smart advertisement from Kim K, man, because when she brought that out, it was a lot of ladies already on the bandwagon, not just because of who she is, it's because it was a good ass product, man. People were like when she first had it on, I was like, man, it looked like she even had on anything, and she's made it comfortable enough for the women to wear. And yeah, man, the advertisement is starting to get off the chart, man. And that's one of the good things right now, man. I just hope they don't do that ESPN crap no more, where the players be naked and having bats and all that, man. Keep that out the sport. But other than that, I just really like everything that's going on in the WNBA, man. And it's gonna be a good season. And just really looking forward to that, and hopefully the NBA once now was getting trending to like the conference championships. Hopefully all that stuff be entertaining because we still got a little ways to go before baseball really be relevant. Hell, we got like July around after the All-Star game for that, so we're gonna still be a lot more basketball. Luckily, we got WNBA now. And we're going to be even having some things to discuss about the NFL because all year they try to go out the way to make it relevant, and they definitely been making it relevant. And we'll get to that one soon too.
Right, and of course we're going to talk a little taste of some of everything else. But in terms of WNBA, if you are looking to find games this season, you can watch the WNBA on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNW, ESPN3. ESPN
Prime.
Plus. You can also watch it on Prime Video. Remember, a lot of y'all have Prime Video and forget because if you have Amazon Prime, you got Amazon Prime Video.
Don't they even have it on Tubi? I remember at one point they had it on Tubi.
You'll be able to catch some of the games on Tubi. That is correct. You will also be able to see the games every Friday on ION. On that network, they show games on Friday. They will be showing games on ABC in the weekends. And they also will be showing games on CBS Sports Network. And I do believe Fox is going to carry a couple games. So it's definitely going to be a lot of opportunities for you to catch the games, whether you have cable or not. And hopefully you take that up. Also, if you want to support the league, I think the next best thing you can do is if you have a favorite team, get some of that gear. The WNBA shop is loading up on all the gear for the WNBA season. Some of the jerseys have already sold out, so they had to restock the Caitlin Clarks and the Angel Reese jerseys for 2. And the more you buy, the more that supports the league, just like the NFL, NBA, anything else. Because in the end, the league is going to expand. Hopefully the salaries will see fit. You got some teams that's got tickets up to $2,000 and $3,000. For example, I believe tomorrow night, the Indiana Fever have their home opener. The highest price tickets for that one is like $4,000, but of course it's already sold out, as in every game in the Indiana Fever season at home, which is crazy. Never has the WNBA seen a team sell out their entire home season before the season even started. So the fact that there's now 3 of the 12 teams that have sold out all their home games is impressive in and of itself.
Man, and then I just still feel like too, it's been a lot of crazy stuff too that's been making me distracted too today. And if people don't know, we're gonna get into that a little later too. But we got the release of the schedules of the NFL that's gonna be coming out.
All right.
And
Well, before you get into that fully, Hugh, let's take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk the rest of the odds and ends for the week, and we will finish up the show from there. This is Big Buck Sports Report / Hugh Sports Perspective. Be
Let's talk.
Night Network presents Pastor Sean Love. Pastor Sean Love, devoted father and husband, a residing pastor at the River Rouge Bible Assembly in River Rouge, Michigan. Join him as he gives us messages from God's Word, Bible study, and encouragement. You can find him on YouTube under Sean Love.
We're not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black innocence. What are yours today?
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my T-Sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comforts together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
Rest of what's going on in sports this week. One of the big things happening today, of course, is the release of the NFL schedule. Hugh, going into it, bro.
Yeah, man, I've been just discussing with E because it just hit me, man, like a lightning bolt. And I'm glad that he got the little time to put in before we even mentioned something. We was talking about some of the games we wanted to see leaked. I know one of them I'm gonna try to tell you. I hope that they don't make a fool out of me on this one, but I definitely feel like this is accurate from the source I have. The Detroit Lions is going to be playing the Rams in the Sunday night football game, the first Sunday night football game. And I was telling E, and I know he liked when he heard it too. He was like, I don't know why they didn't just give us that or leak it out in the first place. They need to have Aaron Rodgers go back to Green Bay this year, have his New York Jets go to Green Bay. That'll be a hell of a game because now we looked at how good and how established Green Bay has been with Aaron Rodgers, but that team's a young team on the come up. And now you have a team in the Jets with Aaron Rodgers who have Super Bowl aspirations as well. I would like to see that matchup. And there's some games and I still feel like that we haven't heard yet because it was a lot of games that was being leaked already and we were pissed off. I even got to the point and said, if you didn't hear yet on the Guru's perspective, why even have a show? As damn near most of the games are being leaked right now. But the reason being, because they got some hidden gems, and I know they're going to keep a lot of things secret as much as they could because they're going to hit us with some big games and what's going to go on the schedule. And yeah, that's what's going to still keep it relevant and keep me watching because this is a good part of the year. And that's why I feel like NFL stays so relevant because they know when to do things and where to lay them at and what times and what time to drop it at right now. And I know you wanted to discuss something and you talked to me about it. And I will let you definitely start off with that too about some of the network playing, which I was pissed off about too, E. But yeah, I'll let you take the reins on that though.
I mean, perfect example. We all have known for months and months that Chicago Bears had the number one pick, and more than likely we knew who that pick was going to be. NBA had the draft lottery on Sunday. Who's got the number one pick, Hugh?
Atlanta Hawks.
And the only reason you know that is because you're the sports guru. How many of your basic sports people know that the Atlanta Hawks won the lottery?
Not too many.
All right. That being said, let me go one step further. You know they have the number one pick. Who is going to be that number one pick, Hugh?
That's a good ass question, E man. I didn't really see too many people in college right now, man. It should be the number one pick because the dudes ain't really play that well. It's one good thing though. Big ups to women's sports. I'm not trying to never bash no sports or make anybody feel bad, but big ups to a lot of people who has been watching the college, girls, basketball because theirs was a little bit more relevant this year than the men's. The men's was good and it was a great actual tournament, but it was more parity with the women, and we knew more of the women players and the women matchups than the men. That's why you still don't know who the hell's going to be the number one overall draft pick, man. You don't have no Wembenyama's or no LeBrons or none of those players in this draft. So yeah, man, that's basically a toss up to me. So it doesn't even really matter, man. That's why this year, yeah, I was a little pissed off. Like, damn, man, they did the Pistons wrong again. But shit, you still don't know, man. You know who's gonna be number one. So it really didn't matter.
It's crazy how it seemed like they changed the way the lottery was set up right around the time the Pistons stopped being relevant, and because of that. Even if they did get the number one pick, it didn't matter this year. Like you said,
not at all.
There is no consensus number one. I mean, bottom line, we already know we just setting up for being in the lottery again next year. But it's just the way that they broadcast and the way they set everything up is what he was talking about. How the NFL is better at communicating these things, better at doing the things that let you see, okay, this ain't going on right now, but we got this, we got that, we got this. That part. But anyway,
the draft, man. Not sorry if I cut you off, but I forgot the number of the draft as far as the rating, but it was hella rating. I think this was probably one of the best ones they did in a while. And the number, the 700 over, not 775,000, it was over that. And they just advertise their things, what they do so well, man. And that's what keeps you interested. I just feel like NBA need to do a lot more of that because when they were starting to say like the lottery draft, when they start to get the teams and who was going to jockey for the number one position, man, a lot of people didn't know when that came on. They don't advertise as well anymore. And they need to start to get back on that because unfortunately, man, when it comes to basketball now, even football, even taking over Christmas now. And I would definitely leave that one for you to talk about more, E. But yeah, as far as stepping their game up, the NBA definitely need to do better on keeping things relevant year round.
Right, because as you know, when they announced the games this evening in NFL, they will be announcing the fact that a couple of the games will be played on a Wednesday on Christmas Day. And those games you'll be able to find on Netflix. Netflix suddenly has the market on damn near everything, it seems. One of the most watched telecasts this year was the Tom Brady roast. 5 of the top 10 watched things on any type of television at all this year was on Netflix. Netflix now doing more live broadcasting. In fact, remember the upcoming Mike Tyson and Paul fight should do big numbers. They have made it to where, okay, if you don't have Netflix, you might want to do that because everything you want to watch about to start being on Netflix. Which is bad for anybody that don't have it and going to be even worse because even if you do have it, once they establish and get all these things on the platform,
they're going to spike up that price.
Do is bump up that price and bump it up something serious. So it's going to be like, okay, I got cable and I got Netflix. It's going to be two separate things.
That was the worst thing too because I was just talking to my sister Harriet. I called her right before she left out back to work. And I said, do you still have Netflix? She said, yeah. I said, man, one of the first things I heard, because I was still asleep, and big ups to my boy Adrian Allen, always keeping me relevant, man. He definitely helps out when I'm asleep, man. He usually up and he at work, man. And he helped me out with that when he showed me that. And that was one of the first things I woke up to, like, what, football on Netflix? What the hell? And then it was going to be the morning games. And man, God's will, man, if I be able to make it to see another Christmas and be with my family and my loved ones, that'd be the main thing we do, man. It'd be me, my nephew, my my brother-in-law, my sister, man, we be all bundled around the TV, man, probably eating like some little snacks, getting ready for, the big dinner to be made. And we look at football all day, So, yeah, to put it on Netflix, I had to make sure they had it still. And I said, hell, if they spike up the price, don't worry. I'm going to have to jump in and piggyback and help y'all. Because now the football is on there, man, it became a lot more important to me because I know they're putting wrestling on there soon. I know Pride wasn't too happy about that, shouts out to Pride. But yeah, man, they're going out the way to make sure you either have it or you just miss out, man. And I'm not missing out on no football, man. Hell, even if I have to dig in my pockets and pay for it now. But that when I was talking to E today, I said, damn, that woke me up. That really got my attention.
Because out of all of the fans in the world right now watching major sports, I think the two most fanatic fan groups are the people that watch football and the people that watch football. In other words, soccer. Because basically, if you grew up in whatever country you grew up in and y'all watch soccer, you go out of your way to make sure that you have soccer broadcasted. For example, I was in a place the other day where they actually have 4 satellite dishes, 4 of them on one house. And that is because they are all fans of different soccer teams across the world. And they all had to make sure that they could see their team play in real time.
That's what I'm talking about.
It is
That's
that
crazy.
deep. I think it's going to become similar to that in the NFL. Speaking of the NFL schedule, I hope that, like last year, they have a game like the one they did last year where they did the Toy Story version of the game. You remember that?
Remember,
that shit was so freaking cool.
You remember I was making fun of you like, man, I never watched that crap, man. But I did, man. I feel like as a Toy Story fan, I definitely had to get in on that because me and my boy, Melvin Foreman, man, when he had his little, nephews, man, we watched that together, man. And the Toy Story, the original one. The Toy Story, the first one was so good. When the second one came out, I was like, man, I'm coming over. I'm watching that. And to have those memories just of us just watching good cartoons when Pixar really first started to trend, but then to turn around and do it in the NFL, man, for the babies to watch, I really thought that was a step up, man. And the whole advertising scheme, man, the fact that they did that, man, for kids and the whole Nickelodeon platform. It's like they really starting off with the kids young, man, because I was just glad that I was into it as a young youth. But to have the kids start off like with the whole Toy Story situation and they have it on Nickelodeon, they're really making their mark in football, man. And that's where we're coming from when we saying NBA need to step up their advertisement when it comes to things like that.
Absolutely. And like I said, when it comes to the whole sports marketing thing, the NFL is definitely leaps and bounds ahead. I mean, when you just think about going back to baseball slowly but surely down. I mean, baseball, it comes on Fox, it comes on ABC, it's still coming on TBS, but you rarely hear about it. I mean, the good games, hold that thought, Hugh. The good games, like when they have Jackie Robinson Day, why don't they advertise that more? That's crazy.
Yeah, that like are the most coveted, the most important days, man. Y'all don't advertise that,
right?
Yeah, I gotta hit you with something right quick. Oh shit, I found out, man. And I don't usually be using no curse words. I try to be more professional as possible when we on the show. I don't know who the hell on the Christmas games, bro.
What we got, man?
Kansas City going to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. The Ravens versus the new revamped Texans squad. So that's a rematch in the playoffs. Them some good morning games, bro.
No, that ain't a bad game at first one, but that Ravens-Texan game,
oh my God.
Really liking that one.
That's going to be a strong
the revamped Ravens and the revamped Texans.
Yeah, that's going to be good, man. I'm definitely, because at first, something told me to kind of see what was going on, because it's getting closer. And I know a lot of more games be leaked around this time. Hell, my schedule with the Lions going to be leaked before they do the show. I just want to see what days and who they're going to play and, kind of get the aspect of that. Because, they really make it like a boxing match. They make it very interesting. But then I wanted to talk about some of the games too, E, the games that we're going to see that's going to be overseas, September the 6th, you know, we have Green Bay playing the Eagles in Sao Paulo, Brazil. October the 6th, we have in the London, England game, the Jets and the Vikings. October the 13th, we got the Jags and the Bears, the revamped Bears. I got to talk about this game, but as me being a fan, I can see it in your face. I want to make you mad right now, E. October the 20th, New England will be playing the Jaguars. And then, of course, you have on November the 10th, the New York Giants versus the Panthers. Hell, them last two games, I definitely probably don't be watching, to be honest with you.
I don't care about none of them except the first one. For y'all to truly understand how good this might actually be, having the first NFL game in Brazil, I need you to look up on YouTube the last concert of Miss Madonna. Madonna recently had her last concert in Brazil, I believe it was. Over 1.5 million people witnessed that concert live in the venue. 1.5 million people. They basically had to spill out to the streets and all of that. I think you may have something similar when you had the NFL hit Brazil this season. That stadium gonna be packed. Outside the stadium gonna be packed. Pretty much how the NFL draft was here. I think you're gonna have a similar scenario in Brazil, but ×2. I think it's going to play so well on TV that they are going to someday consider having some type of team or teams in Brazil. I think it's going to be that good. It don't even matter the two teams playing. I think the atmosphere is going to make that a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be some really good game. Like you said, after the first game, it wasn't really nothing that really popped out to me. It's just the fact that they're going to have the games as usual. I feel like now New England got enough fan base over there, unfortunately, where they're going to have the games in London. You know, New England, old England, you know how that goes. But
right. And
yeah,
then, of
man,
course,
that first game
Jacksonville
gonna set it off.
always plays overseas.
Yes, sir. They either have two games over there for the most part. I want to see what the Bears do in that series, though, man. The revamped Bears, to be honest with you.
That will be interesting to see how well the rookie quarterback Williams deals with going overseas in his first season. That will be interesting. Would like to see the WNBA do more games overseas. There has been talk of that in future years. Even perhaps since now that they have a team coming up in Canada, maybe they will also expand out to other parts of the world as well. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, definitely looking forward to the NFL season. Looking forward to the WNBA season. Also, we got Tiger Woods coming back this week, trying it once again to win a major. What's your thoughts on that, if any, Hugh?
I feel bad, man. He's starting to make me feel like when Michael Jordan went over to the Washington Wizards, man. It's like, you know, man, when you see your idols and people who have been on top for so long start to really struggle, it makes you sick to your stomach. And that's what I'm starting to feel right now with Tiger, man. I felt like last year he should have just announced his retirement, but to come back now, it's kind of making it a little more painful to watch.
But you got to remember, Hugh, if he is anywhere close to contention on Saturday and Sunday, you as an avid football fan, me as a fan in general, at some point we're going to turn the TV on to see what he's doing. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong, man. You know, he good for TV and he good for advertisement too, man. Whenever he play, that's when all the advertisements is there, man. And, you know, you have the Daimler Benz, you have everything out there, you know, promoting him, man. And that's just the type of, you know, juggernaut he is when he is on game. But is he really on this game?
Well, that's the thing. But that being said, remember, the next possible tournament he think that he may attempt to play in is the Rocket Mortgage Tournament next month here in the D. And if he comes here to the D, that's definitely going to bring some crowds out. No doubt about it.
Yo, man, did you hear? I just so happened to glance on the internet. What the heck happened with Aaron Gordon, man, last night?
No idea.
Or just in general, man. Actually, I can't say this happened last night. This happened a while ago. They were saying that they banned him for the team dinners now. They said when he missed the team dinner on the game 2 versus the Wolves, that he was banned. Like, what does that even really matter? Like, that's what y'all trying to advertise in NBA? Come on, man.
Okay, between now and the show, if we find more information about that, we'll put it in the comments. But I have no idea what that's about. That being said, Hugh, you got anything else you want to? Oh, well, we got to talk one last thing before we head out. The Lions definitely did a very major move this week by signing the one and only Jared Goff to a contract extension. What did you think about that, Hugh?
I thought they had to do that to keep him because of the fact is he's a relevant player right now, man. People be hating and saying that they think that they overpaid for him. But what I told one of the guys I know, I said, hey, check this out. I said, do you think Daniel Jones is better than Jared Goff? And he said, absolutely not. I said, well, he damn near got the same contract, though. And you're talking about overpaying. That definitely had to be somebody who got overpaid for Daniel Jones because his neck injuries and he's not really the player that they wanted him to be. Yeah, he's been having injuries and all, but he's not the player and the quarterback that they thought that he'd be. Hell, I even think they reached for Daniel Jones in the draft. So if all the people who say that we overpaid for Goff, man, do you think that Daniel Jones is better than Goff? That's the question I wanted to start off with. But I think it was well-deserved because they're trying to keep the players intact, man. We signed Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got Penei Sewell, and now we got him back in the fold. And not only that, our weakness was our cornerback play. And then in the draft, we got Terrion Arnold, who just fell in our lap. Like I told you several times before, hell, I thought Atlanta was going to grab him. And then now we got Enos Rickestraw too as well. So we definitely been trying to make the moves that we need to make the team better. And starting off with keeping our guys on the roster, man. I couldn't say any more than it was well deserved. And I thought that it was overdue because I thought that they were going to do that actually at the time when free agency came around. But they had to be smart the way they did it and how they worded all these contracts. And just glad to see that those guys will still be around. And for the people who feel like Goff wasn't deserving of that, you're going to have Dak Prescott now making way more soon. And I'm not trying to, throw any jabs or disrespect anybody, but what has he done lately?
Right. I mean, bottom line is Jared Goff went from contender team to very bad team, made very bad team, very good team, $53 million a season, 4-year deal. I like the parameters of it. It all fits for me. Jared Goff will be about 34 at the end of that deal. If he's still playing well, tack on a few more. I ain't mad at none of it. I like the deal myself. Speaking of football, remember, we still got the UFL going on, and it's been a pretty decent season. I've actually been tuning in from time to time to check out the games. Congratulations are in order to the Michigan Panthers, who after winning last week's game are officially in the UFL playoffs. Your thoughts on that, Hugh?
At first, I was like, still scary about them, man, because, they be on shaky ground. Their games be a little too close to me. But something told me, hey, man, I regret it if I turn it off this time and they want to give our last-minute field goal. And to have a record, I said, man, I'm really liking where we at right now, man, because we lost 2 games, and for the most part, they were we lost to one of the best teams, in the league. So I'm not really shying away from that, man. I think the Panthers definitely did better than what I expected. They definitely did more as far as the expectations, and I believe we got to thank the kicker as well for that, man, because he's helped us once, like 2 clutch games. So, yeah, man, respect to them, man, because I didn't think that they were going to play as well and on that level. But, yeah, I definitely want to see what they're going to do in the playoffs, man, because they have been playing well at the end of the season.
The man with the master plan for the Panthers, Jacob Bates. He is their kicker. This man has hit 50 yards. He's hit 55 yards. He's hit 60 yards. He's hit 64 yards. Okay. Not only should he be considered for MVP of the league as a kicker, but also if you, Detroit Lions, do not get that man in your training camp to see what he can do and eventually sign him to a deal to give us even more weaponry. Because think about it. One of the main problems everybody cried about is, man, Dan Campbell be going for it too much on fourth down. We did not have the best kicker. If we did, then they wouldn't have cut him in the middle of the season. If you put on Jake Bates and he can basically do some stuff like that dude in Baltimore, y'all know who I'm talking about.
Oh, Justin Tucker.
In the NFL right now. If he is on that level, we got to put him on, okay? You add that to whatever else we got going with the Lions right now, they suddenly become one of the choices not only to make the playoffs, but to make the Super Bowl itself.
Definitely would like to see him be as accurate as Justin Tucker, man. That's needed right now.
But he should, like I said, if he is not in our training camp and he end up going to somebody else's team, I'm going to be pissed. Do not let him leave the building. That dude is money. But at any rate, that's what I got for this week. Before we head out, though, we got to let Hugh tell y'all where you can find him and other info that he's putting out there.
Definitely appreciate that.
Sure, sir.
Just dropped the show recently, yesterday around 1 o'clock. I did the Guru Perspective, and I talked about what was going on in the NBA and the WNBA, my predictions of the teams who I thought was going to win. Of course, I did a little bit of NFL with the contracts and talked about some of the scheduling. You can even reach me on Hoovy at Instagram. I'm on TikTok is Hugh.Lee6. And of course, I'm doing the Guru Sports Session on what we call the Big Buck Sports Report. Thank you guys, and I appreciate all the love and support. And like I said, Ro, I appreciate everything you've been doing to try to help me reach the height that I reached before on my Facebook page. But just like to say thank you, and hopefully you guys can continue to click them like buttons and go and give me any support.
Yeah, keep in mind, our technology is being upgraded. Again, shout out to our guys over there at the Pod Cal, for looking out for us on that regard so we can get up to their level and then some. With that, there are possibilities that we might actually hit other platforms with not only our podcast, but some of our sports discussions. Basically, there are things in the universe that is the StreamYard which we use to broadcast the show, where they're setting up other platforms now to be on StreamYard, such as Twitter and Twitch and such. We are definitely going to look into those things to see what we can do to kind of expand our audience and expand our growth and to, hook up with other folks doing other things. So be looking out for that in the weeks to come. Again, we thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you. Shout out to all the people in the comments. Like I said, this is pre-recorded, but we will be answering y'all live as the show is being broadcast this evening. And we will catch up with y'all again next week for more Big Buck Sports Report / Guru Sports Perspective as we update y'all on WNBA, NBA, NFL, and all other sports that y'all love and care about. And by the way, we did not forget about the NHL. I still want one of the Canadian teams to win the Stanley Cup. You got two still in there. I do apologize. Last week, I think I said there was no more Canadian teams. There actually are. You got the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. I would really like for one of those teams to win the Stanley Cup. That being said, it's probably not going to be them. It's probably going to be the Panthers or the Rangers. I know you ain't really been keeping up with the NHL. Any thoughts at all?
Yeah, I've been watching some of it, man. What I've been more or less watching is the Panthers, man, and how strong they've been playing. But Dallas is in it too, man. I think it could easily be Dallas in that whole argument is the championship. But Yeah, I definitely watched a little bit of it, not as much as I could, but yeah, it's been more interesting than what's been going on in the NBA, surprisingly enough, because at least the games are close and they're more competitive.
Hey, can't argue that. All right, y'all. We headed out. We will catch y'all next time. Throw the fingers up, Hugh. This is us, y'all. Be blessed, be stressed. Let the good Lord deal with the rest. Y'all know what it is.
Yes, sir.